Hello, humanities. Folks, welcome to week 14, the problem of the humanities. I'm going to be talking not so much about week 14 because I think it's pretty self explanatory and repetitive of many of the other weeks with the discussion and then the paper to follow. So what I really am doing this communication about is you getting your comments on your final project draft as I get those read and commented on. Because it's really important that you both understand the grading of the draft and the final in a couple weeks, and that you know how to find all your feedback so you can, be aware of everything that I'm saying about it at this point. So the first thing we have to do is go to week 13 where you turned it in. And here's the little turn in. So when we click on this, I'm going to, as I scroll down here, I'll see a line across for each one of you. Now you all will obviously only see your own. Jasmine is a paper that I've already read. I think it got turned in early. So we'll be able to go right to her line right there. No, there's Lane, but not graded yet. Okay, here's Jasmine's, and she's agreed for me to kind of use hers as an example of how you all find everything. So you see your name here, whatever you called the document, the number, turn it in, assigned it. When you turned it in, your turn it in match report and your grade in this order. You can look at your turn it in report separately here, but I'll be looking at that with all the other things. So I want to talk about this 95. Good job, Jasmine, or Jasmine, I guess, sorry to be mispronouncing you. My philosophy on drafts is that if they are complete and if there was good effort toward whatever the task at hand was, in this case, research. So I'm very likely to be giving you that 95, a solid A, not an A minus, solid A. If you're turning in a complete document, it's more than 10 written pages or more. And it demonstrates you doing something with the research that you found over the last several weeks. You're able to organize presenting it around a thesis. You've obviously tried, not just kind of a dump of info, but you're making some kind of argument with it. Because the point of the draft is just to get everything out that you've learned, that you're thinking about, that is the direction you want to go. And then when you get some feedback, hopefully you're getting feedback from other people, maybe sharing with somebody you trust to have good feedback, or each other in addition to just me. But when you get the feedback, then you can kind of mold that into a more effective piece. So with saying that the feedback's important, when you look across your line here, don't just look at the grade and think, oh, I'm in good shape. Because a 95 on a draft does not mean a 95 on the final. The final gets graded on the paper rubric I've been using all semester. So, it either will be exemplary or, great or not, middle of the road, or on down with the point scale and descriptors on that, which you're probably used to by now. So the 95 for the draft is very much about effort, getting it done, getting it complete. So don't just look at the number and think, I'm good. Make sure you click this pen. Let's watch what happens. Okay, the first kind of feedback that you're going to see is me writing on the document. Whoops. And that'll show up in blue. So little editing kinds of things about the colon use there and not there, some kind of comment on your thesis, and so on. So, you want to get that kind of line edited feedback. And then you want to come over here and see this with the pen again. Oh, it's outside of the screen. So over to the far right, just outside of the screen, you would see a bunch of things running down, and one of them is another little pen. Looks like it's writing on a paper. When you open that, here we go, and you're going to get to see part of it. I had to move this over. Move it over. There we go. And you can see you get a pretty extensive comment back here. So, and depending, sometimes more is on the document, sometimes more is over here, but, kind of general impressions of how the project's going, things to work on list, sometimes up there, but you get some really specific things to work on here. So obviously that's important that you can find that. And here's the little pen thing that I clicked on to get that. Okay. I tend to have this box open and write things as I'm reading, and then try to keep the more editing kind of things on the doc. Okay, now here's the Turnitin report. So she's got a score of 17. When you click on that, let's see if we get our match overview to come up. Yeah, there it is. It's going to show you all the matches over here. And on the document, those tend to be highlighted. So people freak out about what is the right number? What is the right percentage to have? It's not so much about the percentage as it is, first of all, about are you for sure that you're not plagiarizing with any of these matches. So a quick check for me is to see that that it's in quotation marks generally, or it's titles like this. Again, you come down here, it's in quotation marks. So that explains why it's matching, right? So making sure that you're in quotation marks, again here, and your citing when you quote is part of it. But even that said, you don't want to have a really high percent because that means you're over quoting. You know, this is supposed to be your research presented by you and your words. Obviously, some of it's going to be quoted, but I think if you get out of the 20s, you know, into the 30s, certainly higher than that, like 33%, if you think of that as a third of your paper, you don't want to not be writing more than a third of your paper. So if you are getting a higher number, think about paraphrasing more, think about if you really need all of that quoted material. But that, you know, being said, there's, you know, as long as it's in quotation marks, it's pretty cool. So that's the Turnitin report. I'm going to click back here to get this box comment open and then look for how much writing there might be on your actual document. If you do all that, then my time will be well spent. The 3 or so, I think, of these that I've done have taken about an hour a piece, so I'm not going to fly through them. This is the bulk of the comment you're going to get on this. When I get them back December 6th, I'll have about a day before grades are due to get them scored on the rubric, and may not be writing as much. So again, just really want to stress you finding the feedback here, and then if you have any questions toward the end of the week, or any time next week, you know, we can set up an individual video chat, or just email me with questions if you don't understand anything I'm talking about in the comments, and we'll get this one in the books pretty soon for you guys. I know it still feels like a lot of work to do, but almost there. December 6th, just around the corner. Be in touch if you have any questions. Hope you have a good week.